Welcome to Ujima Wednesdays. This is Codirect, January 4th, 2023. Tonight we have two primary discussion items and one announcement. So just very quickly by way of announcements, just wanted to run over what we know about monthly workshops moving forward. So this month is Reflection Month, starting with tonight. So we will hear some reflection from some staff members. And we are also going to talk a bit about our new member feedback survey that we released today in an email earlier today at around noon. We released it. So we'll also have Mary, one of our community engagement managers, just preview the questions for us, and it's open. And so we'll just also talk about our goals for that survey, and we'll be enlisting you to help us get as much uptake as possible. Next week will be our If You Know, You Know session, which is our BIPOC only workshops. And that's going to be a session on reflection practice with Lawrence Barron III. I don't know, James, if you feel equipped to tell us a little bit more about what you think is going to happen in that session. If not, I'll keep going.
Yeah, I guess I'll just add in addition to that, yeah, it'll just be a session on the importance of reflection, why reflection's needed in the movement, how reflection is critical to us learning. And so he was just sort of really facilitating a conversation about the practice of reflection, and I think maybe facilitating some sort of activity around it.
Great, excellent. And the following week, so that'll be next week, January 11th, the following week, January 18th, we will hear from some of our fellow members. So we'll hear from the Arts and Cultural Organizing member team and the Anchor Institution member team, who will offer us their reflections on 2022, their wins, their challenges, feedback to staff, feedback for other member teams, suggestions for other member teams. And so that'll be January 18th. So we're looking forward to that. And then we'll wrap up the month, January 25th, with an office hours for the member feedback survey. And so that's to, again, really try to get as much uptake as possible on the survey. And so that's an evening we'll be inviting members to come and essentially take the survey with some guidance, and I imagine the opportunity to ask some questions and get some feedback there. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Mary and Gio, I think probably what's also happening that night is we may also be previewing some of the results we've gotten in up until that point. Is that happening?
Yes, if we have enough results to do so, yes.
Okay, excellent. So yeah, so as Mary said, if we have enough, then we'll want to kind of have an early conversation about that. And I think our intent is to have a later conversation once we've closed out the survey, we've gotten all the information, and we feel like there are some things that we can transmit. So that will be January, and so we do see the beginning of the year as an appropriate time for reflection, as James has pointed out. February, the theme will be recession and inflation. And I will pause to give James and Gio, who are our two team members who are kind of heading up this effort, to see if there's anything else you want to say about what you're thinking for that month. All right. Oh, all right. Go ahead, James.
Sure. I'm still defining this, but really excited about the opportunity to really just be, I guess, sort of define recession and define inflation, how how it might impact us in community here in Boston, and also sort of bring some experts who've endured recessions in the past, have some insight on how what we should look out for, and how we can sort of thrive despite this sort of like reality. And so, yeah, we're really excited about that. So yeah, Gio, would you add anything else?
Yeah, I would just say please invite people, you know, and that's for every event that we have. However, when we talk about finances and financial literacy, please invite folks who are, you know, confused, who are shared with us like different discouragements in regards to their personal finance, as well as just you know, questions like, oh, where is this country or state or however we define the lands that we live in? Where is this all going? We'd like to bring you to the table so that you can tell us, you know, what it is that we're going through as far as like our socioeconomic like issues and all that. We hear words like inflation, we hear words of inflation, we hear recession. What does it all mean when we think about Boston Ujima? You know, what is this structure that we're presenting and participating in? How does this democratic process, you know, kind of like shape a future that can answer these things long term? This is not a next week or next year solution, but I think it is definitely an in our lifetime solution. So hopefully, with this speaker coming to the table with us, please invite anybody who wants to make these issues known. Yeah, that's all I wanted to share. So thank you. I'm looking forward to it.
Cool. Thank you, Gio. Thank you, James. Looking forward to it as well. And what I'm wondering, and I am trying to be mindful of time, because of course I started this late. Do you want to talk at all about who you're thinking in terms of speakers, or should we just kind of move on? Or potential speakers? Maybe we might have some people in the room who might be able to link us up with some of the people we're thinking about, is one of the things I'm thinking. All right.
To be honest, I'll just drop my email in the chat
Okay.
as one of the community engagement managers alongside Mary. If anybody wants to follow up with us on this, because we still are in the organizing process. So let us know, you know, recession, inflation, what does it mean to Boston Ujima? What does it mean to Boston, etc. Thank you.
Thank you, Gio. So that will be February. March is public finance month, and so for that month we're bringing back the organization Activist, who joined us for October Assembly, and they joined us to talk about bonds. They joined us to talk about municipal bonds. And so they'll be joining us just to go a little bit, delve a little more deeply into that conversation. The conversation in October was a bit of a intro, a bit of an overview to bonds and just kind of their lens on municipal bonds, and you know, how we could be thinking also about participatory budgeting alongside municipal bonds. And as I said, they're going to now be looking to just cover more ground. So that's one of the groups that we know for sure is going to join us. We've also reached out to, and I'm blanking on their name, but I'm blanking on their name, but there's another organization. Unfortunately, I'm blanking on the name. But that should be a pretty good conversation as well. So that'll be March. April, the theme is masculinities, and wondering, James, if there's anything you want to say about April.
Still define that, but the focus will be masculinities, exploring gender, power, the patriarchy, ways in which we are challenging it, existing in it. So we're hoping to bring thought leaders, practitioners, I think also, who are sort of like resisting it, or challenging it in their own right, of all genders. And so that's the hope.
All right, excellent. Thank you, James. And what I'll also mention is that'll be our first assembly month for the year. So just to start to get that on your radar. And we are pretty sure we're probably going to have a governance vote on our investment partners. So that we think that that's one of the votes that'll be taking place that month. Hi, Jason, you're early, just so you know. That's all right. And so yeah, so again, just want to put on the radar. April is assembly month. Maybe the theme for assembly will be masculinities alongside the theme of the workshops for the month. Maybe not, we're still working that out. And I actually cannot remember offhand what our themes are for May and June.
Yeah, I think May is time bank and mutual aid.
Okay.
And then June, I think we're still sort of ironing it out.
Okay. All right. So we got up to May. So May is time banking and mutual aid. I think a rich few months of workshops ahead of us. So again, just ask you to put it on your radar, mark your calendars. As Gio said, start to think about who in your network would be interested in these conversations, or who would be pleasantly surprised even by these conversations if they're not necessarily interested in them, and invite them out. What I will do now, because I'm looking at time, is I think now is a good time to kick it over to you, Mary, to talk about the member feedback survey.
Okay, cool. Hi everyone, my name is Mary. Let me share my screen. Okay. Yeah, I'm sorry, my camera was off because my Wi-Fi is so slow. Here's the survey. I dropped it in case. Nia, could you share the screen? It won't let me share the screen since I'm not a host.
Okay, I can give you share access. Would you
Okay,
do that?
yes.
Okay. Sorry about that. Okay, you should be all set now.
Okay, thank you. Okay, everyone. So this is our Boston Ujima Project member feedback survey. So the purpose of this feedback survey is to really get an understanding of what the experience has been like for y'all as members, and really getting some insight as to your member satisfaction and participation, because we really want to make sure that we're keeping this organization member led, and then also that our membership is fruitful and participating, and people are getting the full experience that they can out of this. And so as you go through the survey, it'll ask for your name, what kind of membership you have, what teams you've been involved with, and if you currently aren't involved in a team, what teams have you been involved with in the past, and if you're not involved in anything right now, there's an option to just say other, not involved. And then we wanted to also have some space where members can reflect on their participation, and their frequency of attendance in events. And then another section on member satisfaction, it's broken up by month. And so just reflecting back on the previous months, January, February, March, every month that we've had has been differently themed. And so an opportunity to go back and reflect on whether or not you were satisfied with the workshops and the events that took place.
And Mary, can I just pause you for a minute and
Yes.
can you go back to the beginning of this question, the month's question? And is this very specifically in regard to workshops, or is this everything that we've done that month?
This is everything that has been done in that month in regards to workshops and some of the events. So I know there were some events that, like the Black Trust, I believe there are some speakers in that includes this. But I know the like the book club, because it was more of a member, it was within a member team that hasn't been listed in the rows. And then going into what events that have resonated with you, or what events and workshops would you like to see more of? And then getting more into the member experience of whether or not, like, if you feel heard in your member team meetings, if you feel like you have agency, your availability is compatible with with the events and workshops we do. And so just a bunch of different questions as to your experience to get how folks feel. And then we really want to know what y'all think about what could be done to improve Ujima's member participation. And then the last two things, the contact information. So some of the contact information we know is not up to date. And so this is just an opportunity for people to update their mailing addresses and phone numbers and email addresses so we can make sure we have the best contact information for you. And then lastly, is it a free for all for whatever feedback you want to give to Ujima. And so I really hope y'all take this survey. We really need y'all to, because this is one of the best ways we can pinpoint where people are feeling and what work we can do to improve things.
Thank you, Mary. And we'll pause here. We really want to make sure if anyone has any questions or feedback that we're able to hear them tonight. I have a couple of just quick questions just to help just kind of manage expectations. How many questions are there in this survey?
There's no more than 10. It's like 4 sections with 2 to 3 questions each.
Okay, so
Like
no more than
12.
10 questions, and how many questions are mandatory? How many are
Oh,
required?
the mandatory questions, it's only, besides the contact information, it's only 4 that is really mandatory. The rest is for people to just take and see. Like you can choose to take what you want to take. So take as much time as you need, take as little time as you need. But really the required questions are really the information that we just want to get some more insight into.
Okay, great, thank you. So yeah, so just to say, super simple survey, no more than 10 questions. 4 are required. So shouldn't be too heavy a lift. Louise, the survey went out in the workshop email that went out this afternoon. So check your emails and maybe check your spam. If you got it, maybe first check to see if you got an email from us this afternoon. If you didn't, then I would say check your spam. If not, then reach out to us, let us know. We'll see what's going on. And this is going to be sent out numerous times. So at the very least, if you Lynn and Louise, if you follow up with us, if you check and for some reason you haven't gotten an email from us, we'll go ahead and send you the survey. But just to say, super simple. We would like as high a participation rate on this survey as possible. We're looking for minimum 80% of our membership participation rate. So at another time, not quite tonight, because I don't think we have enough time and we're still working on the plan. We are also going to be reaching out to you to help us reach out to your fellow members to ensure that participation is as high as possible. When are we planning on closing out the survey?
I'm thinking the first week of February. I'm just giving up enough time past the office hours on the 24th or 23rd. It is
Okay,
for people to be able
great.
to take it.
So about a month from now, we'll look to close out the survey. But what's better is if everyone can try their best to fill it out as soon as possible and not to kind of wait until the deadline. And Mary has dropped a new link in, so Louise and Lynn, maybe go ahead and try that and said it should work now. And I'll pause here to see if anyone has any other questions, comments, feedback, reflections.
Did it work for y'all, just to make sure?
Yeah, it works.
Okay, great. Thank y'all so much.
Cool, thank you. Thank you, Mary. Thank you, Gio. Okay. We're at 7:12. I think we can pull off a little bit of reflection from staff. We have 3 team members who are prepared to do a reflection tonight. So I'll just open it up to whoever wants to go first and give us their reflection. All right.
Right.
It looks
Ooh.
like James and Gio were kind of neck and neck, but I think James is right ahead of you, Gio.
I just have a few things. Hi everyone, my name is James. I'm the chief of staff, and I guess to sort of frame a couple of reflections I've had this year, as it relates to last year, I kind of use like challenges, a couple of challenges and a couple of successes. And I think to start off, I think a major success was just the team growth that we experienced last year. I think, and even thinking about the sort of process to like identifying the talent that we've been able to acquire has been like incredibly collective, and like we've had like really deep conversations around just like what we needed and who we wanted to bring into our work. And so I'm just really proud of and excited about all that we did and being able to do that. And I feel like we really have generated a really good process of finding the people we need. So just really proud of that. And I think in sort of side by side, a major success I think has been just the maturity. I think just within the staff that have already been here. I think we've all sort of gained another just like refinement as it relates to just like how we do our work. Things are easier to execute, smoother. I think we're committing to our habits more, and I think it's it just feels different, you know. And I think this is my third year being the chief of staff, and definitely feel like just I don't know, just more confident and able to juggle all the things I have to juggle. And I think that's also a reflection of just like the leadership and growth around me. I think it's just been a lot of support. And so I think that's been a major success. A challenge, I think, and when I think about my last year, was definitely not always taking enough time to like learn. And I think, we're all coming to these roles with like some level of expertise around certain areas of work, and have to sort of like really build some skills around other parts of the job. And so I don't think last year I had enough space or really made enough time to really like deepen my skill set to become more well-rounded. And I think when I just started, I did the community fellows through the Institute of Nonprofit Practice. And now we're doing the Next Economy MBA program. But I think just like last year, just through all that we were doing, I don't think it was something that I made space for. And I do think it's important for me to be around like, I think learning helps me like work and gain like confidence in myself. And so I definitely feel like that was a challenge for myself. Another success, I think it's kind of personal, but was just like trusting my family again. I think last year I just was interacting with them more and more. And I have a unique like coming out story. I come from a West African family. But they were like very loving when I, came out to them. But I've never really sort of like tested that sort of like, because I've always been able to like come home and then leave. And so I've never had to just like always be home to like sort of endure their true, like, if they had like really harder feelings about my queerness. But just through going to a lot more family events and being at Philly more, I think I saw that they were actually they just like loved me and they were here for me. And I think it was like even more like tested toward the end of the year, where I like introduced them to a new partner of mine, and like to do that with like cousins felt pretty profound for me. And I think also my family has been really great at just being a support for me throughout the year. I think a lot of friends have moved. I'm sure everyone's experienced this throughout the pandemic, and I feel like I've grown. My family has become like a really strong like support system for me, and so I think that's definitely been great for me. And I think the last one is quick challenges. Just like asking, I think I'm continuing to like build more confidence about asking when I don't understand something. I think sometimes, I don't know, I think it's critical in my role where I have to be a little more directive and clear. I think I'm just learning that I don't have to like, I don't know, just like, I guess I have to be okay with like being uncomfortable or like, and asking for people to reiterate themselves or to say something in a different way for me to truly understand it. And I think that's essential for my role. And I'm learning more to like honor that, even if it makes people uncomfortable. And so, yeah, those are some reflections. I'm gonna pass it to Gio.
Thank you. And just for Brown 2 members who are coming in, who are early and on time, thank you so much. Welcome. We're just wrapping up our previous workshop. So we're just going to give one last reflection from Gio, and then we're going to transition into the book club.
Thank you so much, Nia and Ujima community, for this opportunity. And thank you, James, for your heartfelt reflections. I just want to I acknowledge the new audience in the room. So this is a reflection, both one I wrote a couple weeks ago, and then I put a little bit of an extra to add on here. So I'll keep it in a flow. So taking on a new role at Boston Ujima meant recommitting myself to community care for myself and others. As a community engagement manager at Boston Ujima, I have the opportunity to bring my knowledge, skills, and learned experience while being open-minded to new opportunities that will allow me to grow further. As I reflect on my short time so far with Ujima, I have bear witness to change makers, being both bridges and pillars in the neighborhoods of Boston and the city overall. I see all of us opening up pathways to resources for others. Our goal is self-determination. Our goal is to build community-driven systems we can put our trust in, and our goal is to co-create a future we look forward to with excitement. And so that brings me to this piece on reflection in regards to even our survey. Reflection in our community is a tool to care for our individual growth, to look back on our past and take lessons from it to inform our future. This is to set ourselves up for success. One of the ways we wish to understand your reflections as members of the Ujima community is by answering our survey on what you enjoyed and participated in, as well as how we can improve and contribute collectively to raise participation in 2023. To quote the past Robert Nesta Marley, I share, "Don't forget your history, know your destiny. In the abundance of water, the fool is thirsty." So, the water is our Ujima network of resources, so let's get together and quench our thirst for a bright and healthy 2023. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Gio. Both James and Gio, thank you so much for your openness, and thank you so much for your beautiful, heartfelt reflections. And on that note, I will end the recording. And so those of us who are not staying for Round 2 Book Club, we can do our non-awkward goodbyes. And I will stop